Hello, campaigners, and welcome to the Campaign Rundown Podcast. This is your co-host, John Bose, and this is the podcast that's 100% dedicated to election campaigns. We are working on our first 10 episodes, which will be out shortly, but before we get to it, I just want to give you some teaser content so you know what this podcast is going to be about. What we're going to talk about in this teaser content today is fundraising, everyone's least favorite subject, but we go into a lot of details in the podcast, so if you're interested in finding out stuff about this, please consider going to our exciting and fun-filled website and checking out the subscribe. So go to bose3.com/subscribe and you can subscribe to the podcast and we will send you updates as we get closer to the release. So we're going to talk about fundraising. Like I said, everyone's least favorite subject. The simple fact of the matter is campaigns are expensive. I don't care if you're running for school committee or president, they cost money. And you're going to have to raise money in order to run for office. It's important to have a strategy on how you're going to do this so that you can basically make sure that you get to the finish line and have enough money to do what you want to do. One person that's wiser than I am in all things election campaigns, John Walsh, former chair of the Massachusetts Democratic Party, pointed out to me that you don't need to raise the most money, but you do need to raise the money that will allow you to reach the people you need to reach, to do what you need to do. So when you're doing fundraising planning, you want to make sure that you have a strategy for reaching new donors, but also cultivating people who have already given to you, because it is a lot easier to get money from people who have already donated than to find new donors. What I want to talk about specifically is the process of moving somebody from like a $20 donor all the way up to maxing out. What you want to do is build something called a funnel. And this funnel will basically move the person through a series of messages. And I say messages because these could be emails, they could be text messages, they could be social media posts, or they could be robocalls or in-person calls. But these messages are basically helping the person move along and asking them for more and more money. I know it sounds weird, but like I said, campaigns are expensive, so you do have to raise funds. Now, one of the most effective methods of messaging is using something called the cost of the campaign. And basically what the point of this message is that it would send out to the donor that's already given you money a invitation to get more involved with the campaign. And the way you do this is by saying, hey, thank you so much for donating, and campaigns are expensive. Let me explain what we're spending our money on so that they feel more comfortable with giving you additional funds. So an example of this, there are two basic categories it falls into. One is that you have a specific event that you're trying to raise money for, and two is that you're just going to give a general description of what the campaign costs are so that people know, hey, if I give $100, I'm actually helping out a lot. Or if I'm giving $1,000, I'm helping out extremely a lot. So basically what the message starts off with is an introduction paragraph where you're very gracious and welcome them to the campaign and thank them for donating. So it's something like, hey John, thank you so much for donating. Your contribution of X will really help us continue this fight and you're going to help us win this election. And then you go into the body of the actual message where you're going to kind of in a friendly part of the group descriptive manner tell them about why you need the money. So if you say we're going to do a big fundraising buy, we're doing a big fundraising drive for a media buy, or we're doing a big fundraising drive for lawn signs, it would be something along the lines of introduction paragraph. Thank you so much, John, for donating to us in the past. We really appreciate it. Your donation of X has helped us do so much, and you're vital to us winning this election. As you know, we are going to be putting out lawn signs shortly, and lawn signs are very expensive. They cost X amount. And we need to raise Y amount in order to be able to get as many lawn signs out as we possibly can. And then you finish off with the actual ask where you say, can you contribute Z to this effort and click here to make a donation. That's the first style, which is very successful if you have specific things going on. You could also do it in a grocery list style where you basically list out things that cost money on the campaign. So same basic format, 3-paragraph format. It's going to start off with the introduction. Hey, John, thank you so much for contributing to our campaign. Your donation of X has really helped us. You're going to be a part of our success. we are going to be running this campaign, and it's expensive. The cost of the headquarters is Y. We have to pay for the phone calls, that's X. And if you can contribute Z, it would greatly help us build out this campaign. Now, these are different styles of the same basic email or message. As I said earlier, it could also be a phone call or a text message. And the whole purpose is to introduce the person to what the cost of the campaign is and where their money is going. Basically get them to buy in more to your campaign. These are hugely successful. Now, I didn't think it would work the first time I tried it. We tried it on the campaign, and we did the grocery list style, and we sent it out to in the form of an email blast and an actual letter to each one of these people that had donated to us before. And I was shocked at the next event I went to. First of all, we had raised a lot of money, more than I expected to, from that specific ask. And then I was shocked when I went to the next event, and people kept coming up to me saying, hey, I didn't realize how expensive campaigns were. Please let me contribute, let me help out, because I really think this candidate is awesome and I want to see him win. So I want to strongly stress, when you're building out your email donation funnel, when you're doing your text messages, when you're doing your phone calls, make sure you have a series of messages that are centered around the cost of the campaign. Help people understand what their money's going to, and they'll be more likely to buy in. Now, if you are interested, if this is something that says, hey, John, I think I'm interested in this. Once again, please make sure you go to our website, bose3.com. The subscribe is right there, so it's just bose3.com/subscribe, and subscribe to the exciting and fun newsletter. We also have our preview episode already up, and if you've got time, I would love to get some feedback on it. It's bose3.com/preview. You can listen to the first episode. It's rough cut. We're still working on some of the changes, so don't hold us to too much of a high standard. Once again, this podcast is 100% dedicated to election campaigns. So if you would like to help us make this happen, please consider going to patreon.com/bose3pod and giving us a few bucks. It is a Patreon system, and you'll get exclusive content by doing that. But once again, this is John Bose. I will see you on the campaign trail.